Hello and welcome to a hospital prep and vlog. I am going down to London on Thursday for my Botox injections for complex chronic migraine. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed because we are quite close to Christmas now. I think it's 9 days to go. So there's Christmas lights everywhere, which is going to make the being in London and moving around London challenging. And this morning at 6 o'clock, I got an email to say that the train I booked a month ago has been cancelled. So my first job is going to be to figure out which train I can actually get on. I spent most of this morning trying to find a phone number so that I can actually speak to someone, and I have found it. So I'm going to make that phone call right now. Train journey home has been cancelled as well. Oh, that was hard work. So my train at 9:43 has been cancelled. I've been told to get the 11 minutes past 7, so that's a massive gap. And then my train at 16:46 also been cancelled, which I haven't had an email about. I've been told to get the 17:11. So the hospital is safe, the hospital's sorted. I will have even more time than I did before, but that's not ideal for my photosensitivity, for my chronic migraine, and being under artificial lights around potentially flashing Christmas lights for longer. I'm going to need to think about where I can go to stay safe, to minimise all of those lighting issues for the time that I'm just kind of waiting around before and after the hospital appointment. And now I need to book passenger assistance because as a wheelchair user, I need help getting on and off a train with a ramp. Brilliant. So I can book the 7:11 train on the passenger assistance app for someone to put a ramp down for me and then also come and meet the train with a ramp to get me off. But the 17:11, so the coming home train, isn't currently showing on the passenger assistance app, isn't currently showing on the National Rail app, but the train that I'm supposed to get, or the train that I originally booked onto at 16:46, is still showing on both. So we're going to book the 7:11 assistance, and then we're just going to cross our fingers and hope that by some miracle I actually make it back home from London at some point on the 19th. If you're ever in this situation, something I'd highly recommend doing is asking for email confirmation. I did this and I've just received an email saying that my ticket is okay to get onto the 7:11 and the 17:11. This way you don't have the worry that you're going to get to the ticket barriers or be asked on the train why you're travelling on that particular train, because it removes the kind of, at least my concern, that I'll be on the train or I'll get to the ticket barriers and be told actually my ticket isn't valid, because that has happened to me before when I've had conversations with someone and they've said, oh yes, you can do this, and then it's turned out actually they gave me the wrong information. This way I've got the confirmation email, I can show it, and all is good. Right, now that my heart rate has mostly calmed down from climbing the stairs, I'm going to dye my hair. I use the John Frieda Precision Foam. I use 7G just to hide the greys. It's not an essential for me, but I do like to do it. It does help me feel more comfortable, particularly with me now having a new medical professional. That's what I want. I want to feel comfortable when I go for my treatment. Hair is dyed. It's a big job and it takes a lot of energy from me. So it feels a little bit like a weight has been lifted. A big job, a taxing job has been completed. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's sorted. I have one more job to do in terms of prep today, and that is to send off my headache diary. So this is my headache diary and I have to take a photo and email it to the headache nurses ahead of my treatment on Thursday. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Having my hands up to dye my hair has made me really dizzy, and I've gone and knocked a hot drink over myself. So I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon resting before I go and get Elise from school. Just realised I'm probably wearing the same jumper that I was on Monday. I do have other clothes, honest. Wednesday today, Botox is tomorrow. Didn't film yesterday because I'm not well. I have got an infection. Thankfully, I have no germs, so going to London tomorrow is not a problem. But I am really feeling quite rough. So I am trying to do as little as possible and rest as much as I can. I did figure out what I was going to wear just in my head last night, and I will show you that. So I'm going to wear this dress. It's a good choice because I can do the buttons up not particularly high and I'll be able to get it off my shoulder quite easily. I'll put like a strappy top underneath and then a black cardigan over the top. I normally wear it with a belt, but I won't be doing that because it's not going to be as comfy for travelling. First job is being done at the moment, which is charging my StreetJet battery. If you're new here, I am an ambulatory wheelchair user and I need to use my wheelchair to leave the house, but I can't self-propel very far or very well. So I have a bike attachment, and obviously that needs power. Going to London, it's going to need to charge. So that is on charge. The charge lasts really well. So actually I could probably do without charging it, but I'm not going to take that risk. One of my favourite rest activities is playing Animal Crossing. So I'm going to do that while my brain thinks in the background about what time I need to leave to get the 7:11 train tomorrow morning. This is a great rest activity for me to do now because my mum is on her way up and I don't want to be antisocial when she's here. My mum is amazing and she comes up every time I have my Botox injections for chronic migraine so that she can take Elise to school, pick her up. She usually comes up the day before so that she's here ready for the day, which is great because my trains have been changed and I wouldn't be able to do the school run in the morning tomorrow like I planned to. And then she stays on Friday as well, just to give me an extra hand and just kind of give me a bit of a rest from the travelling, from the treatment, and then goes back on Saturday. On a similar note, the train I'm supposed to be getting home that I booked originally is still showing as running, and the train that I was told to get when I phoned up to figure out the new going there train, the 17:11 that I was told I need to get on, isn't showing up still. And the train that I booked tickets to get home on is still showing. Let's play some Animal Crossing. I can feel myself putting off pumping my tyres, which I really do need to do for a long journey to stay as comfortable as possible. So when I finish this drink and go get another one, I'm going to grab the pump and pump my tyres. Because sometimes I need that little push for my brain to actually get stuff done, particularly when I'm feeling like this. And I can always tell when I'm poorly because my concentration goes, and I've been playing Animal Crossing and forgetting that I'm supposed to be working out what time I need to get up and what time I need to leave the house for tomorrow. My parents got me an automatic pump as an early Christmas present, but my brain still remembers the energy and effort of having to pump my tyres up manually, and that's why I put it off. It is so much easier with an automatic pump. I just need to get past my brain telling me that it's going to be hard work and that I actually don't have the energy for it. Because now I've got the automatic pump, I do. We're getting there. I need to check my bags, make sure my mum has Elise's loop earplugs in case she needs them, and then pack some food for tomorrow. But other than that, I think everything that is essential has now been done. We're going to be leaving at 6:30 tomorrow and getting up at 5:45, which is not going to be fun, but I need to make sure I have that time just in case I struggle to get up, which I often do. Yeah, make sure I've got everything before leaving the house, because once I've left the house, that's it. And I have just checked when my next appointment is going to be, just so I can confirm that with the nurse. It's every 12 weeks, but I have to have a phone call with them now that it's the nurse-led clinic instead of the consultant. And it's much more, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's much more involved. It's not a case of send them my headache diary like less than a week beforehand. It's send them after 2 months and then send it again and then have a phone call with the nurse. It's a lot. But ultimately, I'm really fortunate that this treatment works for me and that I have access to it. So if I have to do some extra steps, I absolutely will. We made it. I'm currently sat in the hospital gardens because I don't feel comfortable getting my camera with its mic out in the middle of London. I have previously, and not even in London, been kind of targeted because I'm a woman and I'm visibly disabled, and people see me and think, easy target. So I didn't want to get my camera out. I'm just not at that comfortable level yet, and I'm working on it, and I have some ideas. This morning, wow, turned up at the train station to find out that the train that was cancelled is now back on. So I came early for nothing. So got in at just past 8 o'clock. My appointment's at 1 o'clock. I did manage to pop into a couple of shops, a couple that I went past on the way to the hospital. seemed very safe, so I popped in and I have got a few extra little Christmas bits sorted. And then I sat in a cafe. I finally managed to find one that I could get into. Most of them have either got a step that's too big for me to get up, or the doors are heavy and are closed, and there didn't seem to be anyone who might be able to help me. Did manage to find one, sat in, warmed up a little bit, had a drink, all the usual stuff. And now it's probably time for me to head into the hospital because I need to be extra early. They've only got one lift working, and they've only had one lift working for quite some time. So it can be a bit of a wait to actually get in the lift to get to the floor I need to. Right, we're the day after Botox, and I have remembered to put on a different jumper. You know how sometimes you just go, wow, did that actually happen? How did nobody kind of anticipate that? When I got out of the lift at the daycare unit floor, came out, turned to go into daycare and couldn't, because decorating the screen, the clear screen that was put in because of the pandemic, they had decorated it with flashing coloured Christmas lights. And I still can't this is a hospital, but not just any hospital. This is one of the top hospitals in the country. This is a specific neurological hospital, and the clinic running was the migraine clinic. Like, how did no one go, you know what? These are going to be the most complex people. These are going to be the people who GPs haven't been able to treat, local hospitals haven't been able to treat. These are the people who are really, really complex, and they're therefore more likely to have issues with lighting, with photosensitivity. Like, how did no one think about that? I don't have the number for the daycare unit, so I couldn't stop and phone them and just say, please turn your Christmas lights off. So I went back down in the lift to reception, asked them to contact daycare unit to turn the lights off. That message didn't quite get through, but I was told someone would come down, and no one came down. So 10-15 minutes later, the receptionist went up to speak to them, came down and said someone's going to come down. And I was like, well, why? The lights just need to be turned off. And then it got to my appointment time and no one had turned up, and I was told to wait in the main reception. So I emailed the headache nurse just to say, I am here, I can't come up because of the Christmas lights. Sent that, and within a couple of minutes the nurse had come down, but the message she'd been given was that I was photosensitive at the time and needed the lights in the room to be turned off. So she explained that she'd turn the lights off and I could come up now, to which I had to then explain I can't, because I can't get past the Christmas lights. So she then went and turned them off for me, and I got back in the lift. In the meantime, another patient decides to try and trauma dump on me while waiting for the lift. So I had to say, I can't have this conversation with you. At that point, my brain had been triggered, because my brain was without realising it, going, this is antenatal all over again. You're being left under fluorescent lights. You've been forgotten. So I was really quite, not worked up, but I could feel it. I could feel the anxiety. I could feel the sense of impending doom. But thankfully, once I did finally end up in the lift, because people were coming up and going down and there was no space and there were other people in front of me, once I got into the treatment room with the nurse, everything went really smoothly, and she is absolutely lovely. It's only my second appointment with her, and I have noticed that my PTSD has been ramping up. I started having nightmares last Friday. It's Friday again today, a week later. Last Friday night, started having nightmares. IBS has flared up, eczema has flared up. But as soon as I was in with her, I was okay. She is someone I feel comfortable with. I'm not yet at the point where I feel safe, but that is a trauma thing, not a reflection of her. Treatment went smoothly. You might be able to see little pinpricks in my head, and then it was back to the train station, and thankfully I was able to get the train I originally booked. The staff at Euston were fantastic, the train journey was smooth, and now we're just into recovery mode, rest mode, and then gear up for Christmas mode. So thank you very much for watching and coming on this journey with me. Hopefully next time I have a Botox appointment, I won't have as many issues with the trains. I certainly won't have issues with Christmas lights because it'll be in March. I wish you all a happy Christmas if you celebrate, and if not, I hope you still enjoy the day and the New Year period, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.